Starting point is it turned to a business, that is to say like banking, financing, IP, etc. Players of professional team sport are deemed as regular employees. Regular clubs had turned to stock companies, and needless to say that, you know, there is a need for contracts and big business, big money is involved. And so that's more or less the reason why we are talking about a new area in the framework of which we need legal advice.
Isn't it a very highly regulated sector, not by the government so much, but by governing bodies of sport? Well,
exactly. This derives from the fact that we are talking about the so-called self-regulatory power of association, which derives mainly from a constitutional law. In other words, every association is entitled to set up their own rules. And that's why this is a big challenge. We are talking about the tension between this self-regulatory power of association to set up their own rules, and on the other hand, regulatory law, fundamental rights.
Some of the regulators, we like to say that no, we're immune from law. We don't have, the law doesn't apply to us, we're special. Is that right or not?
To a certain extent. For instance, take these vicarious liability issues of hooligans. There is a rule which says, you know, the clubs are responsible for the improper contact of supporters, regardless if they are at fault or not. And this is a very debatable thing. Athletes as well as other parties are trying to challenge this kind of rule, saying it's contrary to fundamental rights, that you have to prove fault in any case in order to impose a sanction on somebody.
Already you've talked about constitutional law, criminal law, corporate law, commercial law, public law and administrative law. Is there a sports law, or is it just every branch of law there is?
There's a business with specific criterions, characteristics, but it's not a field as such. It's definitely, as you indicated it, a cross-sectional matter.
And obviously Bird & Bird organises itself on sectors, and it does that to be client-facing and to be organised the way the world organises itself. But sport really is almost a self-defining sector. One of the unique things about you and your background is that you're a member of the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and that's effectively the Supreme Court for international sport. Can you give us an idea even of just the subject matter, the range of things you have to deal with as a CAS arbitrator?
Well, it goes from underwater hockey. I was involved in one of these match-fixing cases. Doping, for instance, transfer issues, problems of sponsoring agreement, regular contractual issues,
so
as well as eligibility issues.
Right, it was such a spread of work you said in sports law, and it seems like all of those cases come up to the CAS.
It goes back to Samaran. She came upon the idea to say, hey, there's a need of harmonized rules in order to avoid, different rules, which fosters, the fair competition. But we need also a central court of arbitration for sport, which issues consistent case law.
And it's been confirmed by the Swiss courts that that's exactly what it is, and it has that power and that respect in the eyes of the law.
It was really exciting to see how efficient dispute resolution within sport work in favor to all stakeholders. It's competitive, Both parties, three parties, are fighting against each other. For instance, eligibility issues, somebody has been thrown out before his crucial race due to a doping rumor or something like that. He is able to take a lawyer within the night, and then we are able, with all the facilities which were on the spot, to set up a hearing within 3 hours and to issue a judgment. I think the chemistry, more or less, of the sport family to resolve disputes quick and efficient is the key for such efficiency.
One of the things that CAS does well is to develop what they call the lex sportiva, so principles from which apply in a common law and a civil law system globally, because the rules of sport have to apply globally, so the legal principles do. Certainly it seems to be let's say a gradual process of people finding out these issues and resolving them as they go along.
I think judgments of the UK, as I recall, and also in the US, you see sometimes the key sentence, sport is different. Sport is different in many